guys know about vampires? You know, vampires have no reflections in a mirror. There's this idea that monsters don't have reflections in a mirror. And what I've always thought isn't that monsters don't have reflections in a mirror. It's that if you want to make a human being into a monster, deny them, at the cultural level, any reflection of themselves. And growing up, I felt like a monster in some ways. I didn't see myself reflected at all. I was like, yo, is something wrong with me? That the whole society seems to think that people like me don't exist?
The Rainbow Theatre Project is committed to being the premier theatre for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community in our nation's capital by presenting plays and musicals that reflect the unique experiences, interests, and history of the LGBTQ community. The current show is written by Kevin Michael West, and it's called The Doma Diaries, and it's a history play about three couples who were trying to get married, and it follows their lives over many years, actually.
Doma is over. It's been struck down. So I definitely did get the comment that this is history. It's done. It's over now. I think it's really important to remember the history behind things and remember the people who did suffer and did fight.
It's very recent history. It's still a battle that we still have to fight, and it's still just like, yes, we won, but there's still more battles to do. There's still fighting to be done. There's still inequality in this world that needs to be fought.
One of those battles that the Rainbow Theatre Project is fighting is a lack of representation in the media that we consume every day. Take television, for example. Of the 895 regular characters expected to appear on primetime scripted broadcast programming in 2017, 43, or 4.8%, were identified as LGBTQ, according to the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation organization. In movies, LGBTQ characters were in 17.5% of major studio releases in 2015. In both major movie releases and cable shows, the majority of LGBT characters were gay men, while in streaming shows, lesbians made up the majority.
Want to marry me instead?
The vast majority of LGBT characters across all platforms are white. For example, in movies, white characters made up 72.3% of LGBT characters. This lack of representation can take a toll on the psyche of LGBT individuals, especially youth.
As for bi representation, there's just not a lot. And when they are represented, it's usually either very stereotypical or it's not like explicitly said that they're bi. They're just like confused or they don't want to label themselves.
Sometimes you get bombarded with this one image of like a very feminine gay guy. And that's fine because like that's definitely a part of gay culture and I embrace that. But it's annoying if that's all you see.
It becomes a thing where it feels more like voyeuristic towards straight audiences than something that's actually meant to appeal to LGBT people.
As far as bisexual characters, not as much. It's not as spotlighted on as I wish it would.
It makes you almost question yourself and you think, well, maybe that's just like how I am. Like maybe like if so this person is clearly bi but they don't really say it, well then maybe like that's not really like a thing.
It's like when the character is just that like stereotypical gay thing, that's annoying. But if it's more than that,
I get like surprised. I'm like, and it's super exciting for me because I can be like, oh my god, my people.
It just brought me to tears, just sort of seeing that experience on screen and seeing the emotions that he's experiencing that like I could relate to.
It feels like, hey, there's other people out there like me, and like they have like complex personalities and like lives, and they're not just like one stereotype.
When I watch a film and a character that is realistic and believable is identified as queer, it definitely stands out to me because that's not something that you see very frequently, and the same goes for theater.
I hear this time and again after we have a performance. Somebody will come up and say, my God, that's my story, or I grew up in a small town and I never felt I could say who I was. And that's why I think this kind of art is really, really important.
As things get published, as plays, movies, music, It's very important to keep that going. Through the arts, we're able to give a voice to those who may not have.
Pride in general is about visibility and making sure that even if, the heteronormative family down the street isn't affected by things, that they're still aware that their neighbor is not living the same life that they are.
In a personal sense, this show means a lot because this is the first time as a gay man I can play a gay man on stage. And that's empowering in a way, since I'm so used to playing heterosexual characters.
Shows like this are extremely important. There's just too much hate in the world still, and we need to make sure that everybody has an equal chance to live their life to the fullest.
I think throughout history, theater and arts has been critical in social change. Considering the election that just happened, I think gay theater now more than ever